Stop scrolling, because what you're about to hear is one of the rawest, most heartbreaking moments we've ever seen from Iman Shumpert. A man who once smiled every time he spoke Teyana Taylor's name, who radiated joy whenever they were together, is now standing alone in front of a phone camera, chest tight, voice trembling, saying words nobody expected. "She used me, and she left me broke." His hands shake, his eyes look hollow, and the weight of years of silence and hidden pain is evident in every line on his face. For the first time, the world saw the side of Iman that had been carefully hidden behind humor, behind confidence, behind quiet strength. A man who had been holding everything together for years, finally crumbling under the pressure that had been building silently for far too long. And what makes this moment even more jarring is that it didn't happen on a public stage, in a polished interview, or in front of flashing cameras. It happened late at night, alone, in the privacy of his own home, where he could no longer pretend everything was okay. This wasn't just a breakup. This wasn't just the end of a marriage. This was a man feeling stripped of his identity by the person he thought would never hurt him, the one he had trusted the most. When the clips surfaced, people couldn't stop talking. They saw the moment Iman looked down and whispered, "I'm tired of protecting someone who never protected me." That line alone ignited the internet. Fans and strangers alike felt the pain, the vulnerability, and the heartbreak poured into those few words. But to truly understand how it came to this, how a couple once celebrated as one of the strongest and most iconic in entertainment could reach the point of public confrontation and raw emotional exposure, we have to go back. We have to go back to the quiet, private moments that never went viral, the moments no one recorded, the moments that silently corroded their love long before the world knew there was anything wrong. Because this collapse wasn't sudden, it was years in the making. Iman Shumpert wasn't always broken. There was a time when he walked with the confidence of a man who felt chosen, loved, and respected. A time when every glance at Teyana carried a quiet gratitude, a sense of wonder, like he had found the one person he had been praying for. And the world believed it. Their love story wasn't just famous, it was iconic. They were the couple everyone wanted to emulate. Matching outfits, effortless chemistry, shared laughter, public displays of affection, music videos, interviews where they couldn't stop touching or teasing each other. Their love was visible, tangible, enviable. Their wedding was a picture-perfect affair, a celebration not just of two people, but of what the world believed was unshakable devotion. And they had children together. From the outside, it seemed like everything was perfect, but perfect-looking love has a way of hiding cracks, and those cracks, as it turns out, were growing deeper with every passing year. People often forget one simple truth. Iman was at the top first. He was the NBA star, the athlete with fame, wealth, and endorsements. He was the provider, the protector, the one carrying the family in ways that mattered both publicly and privately. And for a long time, that worked. He loved being the person who took care of everything, who ensured that his family was safe and provided for. But life has a way of flipping scripts, and that dynamic began to shift. Teyana's career started to explode in ways that few could have predicted. She became a powerhouse in her own right, directing, acting, producing music, stepping into fashion. Her career trajectory skyrocketed while Iman's NBA journey slowed, interrupted by injuries, team changes, and short-term contracts that made a once unstoppable career feel fragile and unpredictable. And when one person rises while the other struggles, the balance of a relationship shifts in ways that are often invisible to the outside world. Friends close to the couple say that's when the first emotional storms began, not with screaming or dramatic fights, but in small, almost imperceptible ways, tiny moments of insecurity, fleeting feelings of being unseen, quiet realizations that things were changing and that the person you love was moving forward while you felt stuck. Iman always supported Teyana's success publicly, often making jokes to hide the sting, saying things like, "I'm just Mr. Taylor now." But behind that humor was a real wound, a quiet but growing resentment that no one else could see. And Teyana was changing too. The demands of success, schedules, travel, stress, the pressure of becoming a brand and a boss meant she wasn't just a wife and mother anymore. She was a leader in her own right, someone the world watched and admired. But in that climb, those closest to her, especially Iman, sometimes felt left behind, even if unintentionally. Money, which had always been a tool of stability, slowly became a symbol of imbalance, not because they didn't have it, but because the roles they once played, him as the provider, her as the one cared for, were no longer the same. Friends said Iman became unusually emotional about finances during this period, every bill, every investment, every decision feeling heavier, more personal. He wanted desperately to maintain the role he had cherished for so long, but life wasn't letting him. And slowly the undercurrent of resentment began to build on both sides. Teyana sometimes felt like she was carrying too much, while Iman felt invisible, forgotten, even discarded. And then it happened. Teyana announced their separation. No warning, no hints. One day, laughter in a TikTok. The next day, a statement that felt like a rupture the world wasn't ready for. The shock wasn't just the separation, it was what followed. Teyana moved into a new phase of life, glowing, building, working, seemingly unbothered. Her Instagram told a story of peace, of healing, of moving forward. Iman's public presence, by contrast, changed. He looked tired, lost, as though he were trying to smile while holding a weight that threatened to crush him. Friends close to them said that after the separation, arguments became sharper, more personal. The disputes were no longer about love. They were about money, responsibilities, the kids, the house. They became arguments of principle. Iman reportedly felt that everything he had poured into the marriage, the years of being the provider, the sacrifices made, the support he gave when nobody else would, was being erased overnight. According to insiders, the breaking point was child support, not the amount, but the principle. Iman felt like he was being treated as a burden rather than a father. That's when he pressed record on his phone that fateful night. And what he said wasn't laced with anger. It wasn't a public attempt to shame or get revenge. It was the voice of a man exhausted by pretending, by keeping up appearances, by protecting someone who, in his eyes, had never protected him in return. "I wasn't just a husband, I was a paycheck," he said. "She used me." And when he looked into the camera, eyes glossy, voice breaking, he whispered the words that made hearts break across the world. "I just want my family back." Teyana responded quietly but pointedly, posting a simple quote, "Stop blaming people for the consequences of your own choices." Fans instantly chose sides, Team Iman, Team Teyana. Every past interview, every moment of affection, every statement made over the years became a piece of evidence to prove a point. Social media exploded with opinions, analyses, and judgments. But behind all that noise were two real people, two parents trying not to let the world swallow them, two ex-partners trying to rebuild lives they never imagined would crumble so publicly. They once promised forever. Now, even simple conversations were fraught with tension, carefulness, and caution. However, the story of Teyana and Aaron's rumored romance begins at the American Black Film Festival, an event that brought together some of the most influential names in entertainment. Aaron had just won the Rising Star Award, an acknowledgement of his rapidly rising career, and he was seen spending considerable time with Teyana. They hugged, laughed, and spoke several times during the event, and their body language did not go unnoticed. Observers were quick to point out the subtle cues, the way Teyana's eyes lingered on Aaron, the warmth of her smile, and the ease of their conversation. In one particularly telling moment, Teyana hugged Aaron in a way that suggested more than friendship, and Aaron's grin grew even wider. Fans online commented that he was practically blushing, a clear indication that the chemistry between them was more than casual. This single interaction sparked curiosity and began a wave of speculation that quickly grew into full-blown rumors of a potential romance. The timing of these public appearances only added fuel to the fire. About a week before the American Black Film Festival, Teyana and Aaron were seen together at the 15% Pledge Gala, another high-profile event celebrating Black excellence in film and entertainment. There, they were seen engaging in intimate conversations and standing unusually close, moments that were caught on camera and circulated widely on social media. One video in particular went viral, Aaron and Teyana speaking with Lee Daniels. The way Aaron looked at Teyana in that clip left little room for doubt. His gaze followed her every word, attentive and captivated, while she spoke with confidence and charm. Fans quickly began speculating, were they just friends or was something more significant developing? These early glimpses of chemistry painted a picture of two people clearly drawn to each other, and their interactions left viewers eagerly awaiting confirmation of their relationship. Things escalated further when Teyana and Aaron began sharing images on Instagram that appeared to officially confirm their romantic connection. They posted black and white photos together, evoking the essence of a power couple and generating major buzz online. After attending the Oscars, Teyana captioned a post, "Oscar night in black and white, no gray area," a line that not only celebrated the event but subtly hinted at the seriousness of their bond. The public reaction was mixed. While many fans cheered them on, expressing excitement and support, Iman's response was far less composed. Reports indicate that he was furious, and his jealousy quickly became evident to anyone watching. It's understandable why Iman's reaction drew attention. This is a man who had built a life with Teyana, only to watch her move forward with someone new, who, by all appearances, complements her perfectly. Iman's reaction has been particularly intense because it is rooted in unresolved emotions from his previous relationship with Teyana. He has openly expressed jealousy, frustration, and even anger at what he perceives as disrespect or betrayal. At one point, he released a song that seemed to target both Teyana and Aaron, revealing lingering resentment toward Teyana for leaving him. In the track, Iman alleged that Teyana would manipulate situations to make him feel guilty, fabricating arguments to keep him emotionally tethered. Naturally, this did not sit well with fans. Social media quickly erupted with criticism, pointing out that Iman's behavior was inappropriate and that he had no right to create drama over someone else, especially considering his own missteps during their marriage. Many online commentators called out Iman for attempting to provoke Aaron or interfere in Teyana's life, noting that the true person at fault for their breakup was himself. One fan commented, "Imagine hurting a woman who supported you, loved you unconditionally, stayed loyal, and ignored the world for you. All she ever wanted was your time, care, and attention. That's a big loss." Another wrote, "If I messed up with a supermodel just to play one more season of average football, only to watch my beautiful ex-wife move on, I'd probably be listening to Fleetwood Mac and crying too." Despite the criticism, Iman attempted to downplay his feelings publicly by posting laughing emojis on social media, but anyone paying attention could see through the facade. No one who is truly unaffected behaves that way. Iman's behavior, cryptic posts, musical call-outs, and social media reactions reveals a man clearly upset and bothered by Teyana's relationship with Aaron. And the truth is, he only has himself to blame for the situation. Iman's history during their marriage was filled with indiscretions, repeated cheating, and behaviors that eroded trust. Teyana reportedly accepted situations that should have been unacceptable, including threesomes involving other women, in an effort to preserve the marriage and prevent Iman from leaving her. The constant strain of trying to make the relationship work while managing Iman's repeated betrayals left Teyana questioning herself, when in reality, the root of the problem was always Iman. When Iman and Teyana divorced, she publicly attempted to maintain decorum. She made statements clarifying that infidelity was not the official reason for their breakup, writing, Not too much on my bestie. In all fairness, Iman and I are separated and have been for a while. To be 100% clear, infidelity is not the reason for our breakup. Yet, the divorce documents painted a different story. Teyana's legal filings described Iman as jealous, insecure, and controlling. She detailed how his insecurities regarding her fame and accomplishments caused tension throughout their marriage. Despite earning more as a professional athlete than Teyana ever did as a musician, Iman reportedly felt inadequate, frequently criticizing Teyana and dictating how she should behave at public events. According to Teyana, he would ask her to step out of photographs, making her feel unseen and undervalued. Over time, this pattern of behavior grew increasingly cruel and selfish, creating an environment in which Teyana constantly had to manage both her husband's ego and her own emotional well-being. Throughout the marriage, Teyana made enormous sacrifices to keep the relationship afloat. She turned down music and acting opportunities to focus on their family, often putting her own ambitions aside in an effort to accommodate Iman's preferences. She attempted to create peace and stability within their household, hoping that her sacrifices and support would satisfy him. But no matter what she did, it was never enough. Iman's dissatisfaction seemed to increase in proportion to her efforts, creating a cycle of frustration and emotional strain. One of the most notable points of tension occurred after Teyana gave birth to one of their children. Rather than appreciating her dedication to family, Iman began complaining about finances and her decision not to work, even though it was a choice he had instructed her to make. This contradiction left Teyana feeling confused and frustrated, as she had been doing exactly what he requested yet still faced criticism. The financial turmoil did not end there. Teyana claimed that Iman took $4 million from their joint bank accounts without her knowledge. He also reportedly undertook home renovations costing $200,000 without consulting her. The renovations were never completed, leaving Teyana to navigate the aftermath and manage both the unfinished work and the emotional stress it caused. Fortunately, when the matter went to court, Teyana received justice. The judge ruled in her favor, mandating a one-time payment in the millions to secure her financial stability. She was also allowed to retain 4 homes, valued at approximately $10 million, while Iman kept only a condo in Miami and some properties in South Georgia. In addition, he was ordered to pay $8,000 per month in child support and cover private school fees for their daughters. After years of sacrifice and emotional turmoil, Teyana finally had the legal backing to reclaim a sense of security and independence. Now, with the legal battles behind her, Teyana is moving on with her life, thriving in both her personal and professional spheres. She has seemingly embraced a new chapter with Aaron Pierre, one of the most in-demand actors in Hollywood today. For Iman, witnessing Teyana flourish with someone else, someone attentive, supportive, and seemingly better suited to her, has been difficult to watch. His jealousy and emotional reactions to their interactions have only highlighted the consequences of his past actions. Fans and commentators have not held back in weighing in on the situation. Many see Iman's behavior as a form of karma catching up with him. One fan commented, "Iman can go kick rocks. He did the same thing to Teyana that Future did to Sierra. Now she's upgraded, and I love it." Another stated, "Of course he's upset. He'll never find another Teyana Taylor, the mother of his children. That's his karma while she moves on with her life." The consensus is clear. Iman's emotional outbursts and petty attempts to interfere only serve to emphasize that Teyana has moved forward, and there's nothing he can do about it. The larger lesson here extends beyond celebrity drama. Teyana's story reflects the importance of self-worth, perseverance, and the courage to leave toxic situations behind. She made enormous sacrifices, endured betrayal, and yet continued to advocate for her own needs, ultimately achieving justice and reclaiming her independence. Aaron Pierre appears to be the partner she deserves, offering attention, respect, and a healthy dynamic that contrasts sharply with Iman's behavior. Iman's jealousy, public outbursts, and attempts to undermine her happiness demonstrate that the past cannot be rewritten, and that personal growth often comes too late for those who fail to recognize the value of the people around them. The hardest part is this: everyone around them had an opinion. Family members, friends, fans, the media, everyone except the two who actually lived the marriage. Nobody knows the nights they cried together, wishing things felt like they used to. Nobody knows the moments they tried to apologize, tried to fix what was broken. Nobody knows the nights Iman held the children while Teyana worked late, or the nights Teyana stayed up worrying about how to balance success and family. This didn't collapse overnight. It broke slowly, quietly, painfully, and now both Iman and Teyana are navigating the emotional wreckage. Iman is working to rebuild his career, investing, stepping into entertainment, taking new roles, but each step feels heavier without the family he envisioned. Teyana is relentlessly working, building her empire, glowing in the public eye, but the silence at home likely weighs as heavily as any headline or award. Divorce isn't about villains. Sometimes the villain is life itself: timing, stress, unspoken words, unhealed wounds. That's why Iman's final line hit so hard. Not anger, not revenge, but heartbreak, regret, and an aching desire to bring back what was lost. "I just want my family back." A simple sentence, but behind it, a lifetime of love, pain, sacrifice, and the stark reality that some things, once broken, may never be the same.